Morocco colonize this country in the first place?
So Western Sahara, in part because of the United States, we're really bad at geography and history. Let me just situate it. It's in the northwest part of Africa. It's south of Morocco, north of Mauritania, west of Algeria and Mali. So it's right on the coast, and a few miles further west of the Canary Islands. It was a territory that was colonized by the Spanish in the 1800s. When the Europeans started dividing up Africa after the Berlin conferences of 1884 and 1885, Spain, which was a weak imperialist power, got only small portions of the continent. They got what now is Western Sahara. They got Equatorial Guinea, what's now Equatorial Guinea, and they got some islands. And basically, that was it. They got a little piece of Morocco. Um, Fast forward 1975, an independence movement led by an organization called Polisario, that's an acronym, Frente Polisario, the Polisario Front, had been leading a struggle. The Spanish withdrew from Western Sahara in a very haphazard way, in part because Morocco, under then King Hassan II, decided it was going to grab Western Sahara. Now, they did that in part because they wanted to keep people's minds off of the internal turmoil within Morocco. There's a long history to leaders doing things like that. And they set off something that was called the Green March, which was hundreds of thousands of Moroccan settlers, along with Moroccan troops, that stormed into Western Sahara. And at that point, a war broke out. War was between the Sahrawis and the Moroccans, and the Sahrawis and the Mauritanians, because Mauritania and Morocco decided they want to get a piece of the pie. The Polisario defeated the Mauritanians, and they've been fine ever since. Morocco kept pushing in and has ultimately occupied 80% of the territory. And their argument is that Western Sahara was always part of what they saw as a greater Morocco. International Court of Justice has said that's not the case, that there's no historical foundation for that. But Morocco sees itself as really entitled to Western Algeria, parts of Mali, Mauritania, and parts of Senegal, as well as Western Sahara. So that's basically the conflict. And the war stopped in 91 based on a truce where the Moroccans agreed that they would hold a referendum on independence. And long story short, when the Moroccans realized they were going to lose the referendum, they basically pulled out. And there was this uneasy peace until November 2020, when the Moroccans broke the truce and the war started again.
And who's arming the Western Sahara people? Who's even helping them get weapons?
Algeria. Okay. So what happened is when the Frente Polisario got started, they weren't getting any help from anybody. But they were able to convince the Algerians and to some extent the Libyans to provide them with assistance. Morocco, on the other hand, has received significant support from France and the United States. And that's partly because Morocco is essentially a neo-colony of France. And so the only reason that this war has been able to continue is that Morocco has all of this military aid. The United States in 91, when the truce was signed, agreed that there would be a peaceful resolution to the conflict, but they never pressured the Moroccans to withdraw or abide by agreements the United Nations had come together. So in that sense, it's very similar to the conflict in Palestine, where the United States keeps saying it wants a peaceful solution with negotiations, but they keep arming the Israelis. Oh, by the way, Israel is a very close friend of Morocco, and has been since the 1960s.
Are they helping arm them as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, and most recently providing drones, and these drones have been attacking military and civilian targets. So there have been Mauritanians, Algerians, as well as Sahrawis that have been killed by these drones. The Sahrawis keep fighting, and they've even taken some of the fighting into southern Morocco. But the Moroccan government still has an edge. They still have significantly more equipment.
Technologically advanced, obviously, as well with the drone warfare.
Oh yeah, and surveillance. You know, you've heard of this Pegasus virus.
No.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
Oh, this is something you should probably do a story about. Pegasus is this virus that was created by an Israeli company, and it's making the rounds within many authoritarian states. And the way it works is that if people open up with their phone an attachment that might look legitimate, it releases the virus. And what the virus does is that it basically opens up your phone to everything. So it can access your email, your contacts, all of that. And so the Israelis and the Moroccans have been using Pegasus as a way of clamping down on dissent.
Whoa. Did you know about this, Pascal?
No, I was not aware of the Pegasus virus. That's incredible.
Yeah, look it up, because it's not just the Israelis and the Moroccans using it. It's being used by various repressive states. And there's a lot of investigation going on about who's using Pegasus, and then trying to figure out ways that people can prevent getting it or getting rid of it. But the key thing is, as they always say, don't open up any attachment unless you know where it's coming from.
Besides phosphorus, what else does Western Sahara possess that would be of value to Morocco?
Fishing.
Okay.
And seafood. Very, very substantial, which is why the Moroccans actually would like to grab the Canary Islands as well. And so phosphates and fishing are two major pieces of what Western Sahara offers. Now, one of the things that's happened is that several multinational corporations have entered into Western Sahara in violation of international law, I might add, to pirate some of these valuable assets that Western Sahara has. Mm-hmm. And as I say, it's a violation of international law. When you have an illegal occupation, an annexation, companies are not supposed to come in and do business unless they have the permission of the native population. And the native population, the Sahrawis, are represented internationally by Polisario, and they have a government in exile that you mentioned, the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. And so these multinationals shouldn't be doing any business there. And there are international efforts underway, and have been, to put pressure on the various multinational corporations. And I would refer your viewers and listeners to a site called Western Sahara Resource Watch. Western Sahara Resource Watch, that has all kinds of information about who is pirating Western Sahara.